How do you model this? I would model this with a cube and then go into edit mode. First, I'd scale it slightly on the y-axis. Then I'd select the front face and scale it on the z-axis. After that, I'd select the back face, scale it a little on the z-axis, and then slightly on the x-axis to shape it properly. Next, I'd add a cylinder and change its vertices to 12 from the Object Data Properties panel. Then I'd rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis, move it along the y-axis, and add 4 loop cuts here. After that, I delete these faces, select these edges, and bridge them together. From the top view, I'd rotate the cylinder slightly on the y-axis to align the vertices properly. Then I'd select this face and extrude it on the y-axis. Next, I'd add a circle, change its vertices to 12 from the Object Data Properties panel, rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis, and move it into position. Then I'd extrude it on the y-axis, extrude it once more, scale it, and continue extruding it along the y-axis. After that, I'd add a loop cut here, select these faces, and use extrude faces along normals. Then I'd add another loop cut and scale these faces slightly while excluding the y-axis. Next, I'd select this edge and use grid fill. Then I'd bevel this edge, add a loop cut here, and move it slightly to the left. After that, I'd select these faces and use extrude faces along normals. Then I'd select these faces, go to the select menu, choose check or deselect, and extrude them slightly inward using extrude faces along normals. Next, I'd add a loop cut here and another one here, moving it toward the left side. Then I'd scale it slightly, select these faces, and extrude them on the y-axis. After that, I'd add another loop cut here and move it toward the right side. Then I'd select these faces, use check or deselect again, and extrude them slightly inward using extrude faces along normals. Finally, I'd add one more loop cut here, move it toward the left side, scale it slightly, and add a few supporting loop cuts around the model so it doesn't lose its beautiful shape after applying a subdivision surface modifier. Did you like the video? Follow me to stay updated for more Blender tutorials and modeling tips.